So when I'm making fresh salsa, I like to use great ingredients from the summer, like the fresh tomatoes I just got in my garden. So I've already cut up a few, but here's here's what I do. I just core it and cut it into a bunch of different chunks. So here's about 4 or 5 fresh tomatoes from the garden, cored and then quartered each of the halves, so that you get some nice sized chunks, but you get the picture. This is just a standard Cuisinart. You know, there you go. So next I'm just going to use 1 jalapeno. I use one because I just don't know how hot they're going to be. And I typically cut out a few of the seeds. Just cut it, split it down the middle, take out some of the seeds. So there you see it. I took out the some of the rib inside, a bunch of the seeds, and then I cut up the jalapeno into some really small pieces. I do that. You're probably thinking, why cut it up like that? Why not just chuck the whole thing in? I've just found that by cutting it up like this, that you get a better consistency in the salsa. So I just chuck all those in there. Who cares about the seeds on the board? Just be really careful with those fingers, because now that you've touched jalapeno, you could, if you touch your eyes or something, you're gonna hurt. So next up, some garlic. I'm just gonna take for about 5 tomatoes. This is one pretty large. This is a pretty large one, and this is a really small one. I'm just gonna cut those into some smaller pieces, about the same size as those jalapenos, and then just chuck it in there. Okay, so now in the Cuisinart we've got some fresh tomatoes, we've got some jalapenos, we get chunks of garlic. Next up, cilantro. I don't buy the little packets because I just find like you get so much more and so much nicer cilantro by buying the bunches, but I can feel it. In my fingers I can feel the sand, so you gotta rinse that off. I just grab, I grab a handful and then I rinse it off really well. So I'll give you a knife as a comparison. That's a steak knife I'm using. Pretty good sized bit of cilantro. I like my cilantro. I'm going to cut it into some smaller pieces. You might be wondering, why are you using a little steak knife to do this work? I do like using a chef's knife, but I find with the tomatoes, it's just so much easier with one of these knives with a little serrated end on it. So, anywho, there you go. That might end up being too much cilantro, but we can always adjust that later. So I've got, I've got my tomatoes, I got my jalapeno, I've got my garlic, I got some cilantro. I need some onion. Next up. So there you go. I just cut up about half an onion. I think that's about right for 4 or 5 tomatoes. So half a red onion, threw it on top. Doesn't matter what order you throw them all in. Now I got a little, sea salt. I'm just going to chuck a little bit of that in there. I can always, I don't know. That's probably about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to do a little pulsing with this machine here. I don't like to leave it on full bore, but I just pulse it like this for a little bit. And it starts to get chunky. You can stop anytime you want. If you like a more natural, like look at that. Ooh. You can stop there and smell that cilantro. I keep pulsing it in little bursts like that because I really want to get the big chunks kind of chunked down. It's starting to look like what I love. It smells really good. Let's see. So now I just like to clean the sides, make sure I don't have any really big chunks in there. Looks pretty good. Might have to give this a taste. There's a lot of cilantro. I might have to add another tomato. Let's see. Oh, there's definitely some heat. The cilantro is not bad. So I'm getting back of the mouth heat. I think I'm going to go for some of that tip of the tongue heat. So my secret for that is, now let's see if we can find it in here. There it is. This is my favorite hot sauce in the world. If you don't have a bottle of this in your fridge, you're missing out. So El Yucateco. It's the red, and you can see I use it a lot, so it's almost gone. So I'm going to put a couple of drops of this in there, and we're gonna be done. So there you have it. Add salt and pepper and El Yucateco to taste, but there's your homemade salsa. I'm gonna freeze some tonight and I'll let you know how it goes.